Hello my lovelies, welcome to this week's midweek wrap up. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different because I'm forever trying to challenge myself for these videos, just to bring you something a little bit more interesting or a little bit different every time, so that we just keep things fresh and new and exciting. So I bought some fabric ages ago, and I'll try and link the video for you guys just to see if I could make my own deals. Simple as that. So I'm not really looking to make scarves per se. I'm specifically trying to cut up some fabric in order to be able to wrap with it. So I'm not so worried about overlocking or stitching or any of those type of things. These are purely going to be cuts of fabric for wrapping. Having said that though, that in itself seems like the most scary challenge I could possibly bring myself to do in the world of tickle tying, because I am no seamstress. So what I've done is I've chosen this scarf here as my guide, because this is probably one of the most easy scarves to tie. Not just because of the kind of fabric it's made from, but its size and everything about it is very, very easy. Normally I would fold it in order to tie it. It's very flexible in terms of how many kinds of folds it can take for different things like shapers and different hairstyles, different tickle ties, everything. This is very, very versatile size. So I'm going to try and recreate it. So this is my plan. I'm going to take the two pieces of fabric here. One is the tickle and one is just the length from the store. And I'm going to try and line up their corners, and then using a little dress pin like this, I'm going to pin them together. So I'm going to try and show you how I do that. Ideally you want to put this on a flat surface and do it nice and neat, but basically just pin it through like that and then back through this way so it looks like that. I'll just do that a few times so that it's nice and still in place and very neatly lined up. I would have loved to have done this on a big open surface like on my bed or on the floor or something, but I'm going to try and do it in my filming room so that you can come along for this journey. So this is basically all I've done, is I've just put some pins in to keep the fabric in place. And I'm just going to try and find out where the edge of the fabric is here. Okay, next I'm going to take a pair of really sharp scissors. I would say a nice big pair is going to be the easiest to work with. This really brings back memories back when we first moved to Australia. My granddad used to sell fabric at the Victoria Market, so I just remember he had a pair probably twice the size of these and really, really heavy with a big burgundy handle, and he's got massive hands and he used to look like he was doing one of these with it. So we're going to take these scissors here, and what I've done is I've just placed the fabric right on my lap because, like I said, I just needed a nice flat space. So just like this, what I'm going to try and do is hopefully have it be nice and flat so that when I cut it, we're going to end up with equal pieces of fabric. Alright, here goes nothing. I'm going to try and follow the line in the fabric. So I'm not sure if the camera is capturing this right now, but fabrics tend to have like a little weave kind of line through it. So I'm just trying to very carefully follow the one here. Obviously if the pattern has lines, that makes things easier as well, but you can't always trust that the fabric is printed that straight. So trying my best here, guys. Once I've got a little bit of a guide in the cutting, so I've cut probably about a third of the way down, I'm just going to go back and pin the fabric in half just to complete my cut. And once again, I'm just pinning those two pieces together so that the fabric remains in place as I'm going to finish it off. Ideally, what you want to do is be able to pin down the entire scarf to the piece of fabric so that you can, you know, copy the whole thing, cut out the whole thing. The other thing you can try and do is sketch it out with some chalk, special tailor's chalk, but I neither have enough dress pins nor any chalk. I guess I could use like a texture or something, but you know, Mum and I used to make my outfits for years, and we always took some kind of shortcut, and they never failed. So I'm willing to do this experiment and take you guys for the ride. So there it is, just the 4 pins again, pinned in place. Again, ideally, if you're using this method, you probably need about 8 pins, but I've got 4. So I'm just going to try and continue cutting out this fabric so I end up with some kind of tickle. So I've moved back to my bedroom, and we're going to finish off the cutting process on the bed like I originally wanted to, because once I got through to a certain length, it was actually too long for me to reach just using my lap. So instead we're going to do the rest on the bed. So I've just pinned down 2 sides of the scarf down the bottom where it's already cut, and now I'm just trying to lay it out as flat as I can, which is not very flat at all, as you can see. And I'm going to use the other 2 pins to pin the top. So all I am really is guiding out the width of it. I'm going to try and hold it as tight as I can. Yay! Okay, whew. That was a bit of an aerobic exercise. So we're back now in my little office here, and I've got a length of fabric. So I guess the point of my whole video here is just to prove that just because you're not a seamstress, because I am most certainly not, or you don't have all the tools, and I most certainly don't, I could have, you know, made do with some textures, or maybe just use some different kinds of pins, or done something to make my life a little bit easier just now. But I didn't have the disposal of the kitchen table or big flat space because of the kids being asleep, so I needed to do it either here in the office or in my bedroom where they couldn't hear me, and it's possible. It's all possible. So now I'm going to try and create a tickle look for you guys using the new length of fabric. How amazing is this fabric? How gorgeous it is. And we managed to get some really lovely straight lines, more or less, and it's going to sit really beautifully. It's a nice stretchy fabric, so I think it's going to have a lot of give. And it's just long enough where I think that even with volumizers and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to get amazing looks. But for today's look, I'm actually going to fold it in half first, because that was the whole idea of using the purple scarf as my guide, because that is a scarf that I usually fold at least once, so at least in half. And I'm able to do that now with the length I've chosen for this, especially to conceal the fact that it is a one-sided fabric. So I've laid it a little bit asymmetrically, or very asymmetrically, in order to show off this beautiful pattern. So I've got this tiny little tail on this side, and I'm just going to tie it off like so, nice and tight, because it is a very stretchy fabric, just to give it some control. And I can fix it now because it's going to probably move around a little bit being so stretchy. And then I'm actually going to open it a little bit up, not completely, so it's still kind of double-sided. I'm going to make sure that the folded part is facing closest to me, and this is the part where I would open it up. Okay, so this part's inwards. I'm going to just drape it over, oops, this way, making sure that this part is still at the front, because I don't want it to open up and show the inside of it at all. And I'm going to tie it off again. Okay, then I'll tuck away the end of that tie and make sure that all of this stuff is nice and neat. I'm going to take this and fold it under and then tuck it away here. Alright, and there it is. There is my first self-made tickle. What do you guys think? There's so many looks that this is asking to be made into, so maybe we'll just do one more. For this next look, I'm going to fold it just a little bit over, so just a third. Okay, now popping it on. It's almost symmetrical in this position, and look at the beautiful pattern that I get from folding it not perfectly in half, so I'm just catching another part of this gorgeous pattern. And what I'm going to do is I want to do my favorite thing, and that is folding it over the front. So here we go. Okay, and then tying it off just off the center. Okay, step 1. Now we're going to unfold it now and throw this bit back like a veil, holding it down nice and strong, and then taking this back and making a little knot. And now tuck away the excess from this tail just in there. Okay, that is our step 1. And then I'm going to fan this little bit out too, not completely unfolding it, but just enough to sort of flatten it out. And I'm just going to find a little home for it up here too. somewhere in there. Wow, what a look. I absolutely love, 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 love what we've achieved here. What an amazing pattern. Gosh, don't even know where to look. It's just so much going on. All right, my lovelies. Well, the plan is to go and get some more of these little pins so I have more than just 4 to work with. And look, they're somewhere, but because I wear them in my tickles, they fall out. A lot of the time, well, they get caught up in the actual scarf and I don't discover them again until I go to put them on again. So I always either hang or fold away my scarves, but especially the hanging ones, because I'm not really running my hands through them completely, there may be a little pin stuck in them. And typically if it's a pink scarf, I'll use a pink pin and so forth and so on, so they're not very easy to see. So unless they've fallen right on the floor where I can see them, they tend to get lost. So I'm only down to 4 at the moment, but there is a box somewhere and there are more pins somewhere. So before I cut my next bit of fabric, I'll probably endeavor to find more so that it's not so scary. But luckily this one worked out so well. The other thing is, because this is a heavier fabric, hindsight, I probably could have asked for a longer piece of fabric and then cut it on its long side, so I would have got more length going that way. When it comes to tickles, so it would have been just longer when draped down on my body. So with the thinner fabrics, this length is perfect, but with the thicker fabrics, I think I would have preferred to have a little bit more length to play with. The other thing I would probably look for in the future is something that can be double-sided, so I don't have to be so conscious of having a inside and an outside look. So this one worked out really well, and I'm so grateful it did. It's such a cool little experiment that we've done together today, but it is a little bit of a scary experiment too. So I look forward to having something a little bit easier to work with next time. All right, my lovelies, definitely a different midweek wrap up for you this week. I can't wait to show you what I do with the other pieces of fabric and what kind of tickles we can create once they're cut down as well, which I will definitely get around to doing this year. If you like this kind of video, please do hit the like and leave me a comment. Any tips or tricks of what you guys do at home when you don't have enough bits and bobs to do the job perfectly. Where do you get your tickles from? And have you ever made your own? It'd be really interesting to find out. If you haven't done so already, it'd be really great if you could hit the subscribe button. We've been recently growing a little and it's just always really fun to see, and it gives me a lot more enthusiasm to create new content and get back in front of the camera and make sure that the schedule of uploading keeps on coming. For any one of you who has Instagram, please do follow me on social media. There's Instagram and Facebook posts going up regularly, and I'd really love to see you over there, and I'd love for you to come along and see more looks and more bits and pieces from my life. Wherever you are around the world, I hope you're having an amazing start to 2020. May this year be absolutely wonderful for you, and may 2019 have taken away any unpleasantries with it, so you have a beautiful, bright, love-filled 2020. Can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye, lovelies.